So, what is fear?
False evidence appearing real.
The definition of fear, if you look it up, is first, it's an emotion experienced in anticipation of some specific pain or danger, usually accompanied by the desire to flee or fight. Okay? It's also an anxious feeling. It's a feeling of profound respect for someone or something. Some of the words associated with the word fear are apprehension, dread, intimidation, panic, scare, stage fright, timidness, and so on. So fear is the single biggest thing that holds us back. That's kind of scary, isn't it? Overcoming fear is the essential step in achieving our goals and dreams. In the words of Robert Waldo Emerson, do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. Let that sink in for a minute. Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. Okay, you're going to overcome fear, and it's gone. It's one of the most common reasons people procrastinate on taking action towards their goals. We fear failure, or rejection, or being embarrassed, or disappointing or angering other people, or getting hurt. So we play it safe. And we avoid taking risks or trying new things. But you know what? If you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you always got. Yeah. So I truly believe every one of us has experienced fear or is experiencing fear right now. I know I have. Fear of failure is a big one. No one likes to hear the word no when you really want to hear yes. But remember, the only place failure comes before success is in the dictionary. Everyone that's ever been successful has failed over and over and over. The successful people learn from their mistakes and then try it again and again and again until they succeeded. So it's not giving up, it's keeping going. Okay? Fear of the phone is another big one for a lot of us. I suffer from that sometimes. When you need parties and you really need to make calls, that phone can look or feel like it weighs 50 pounds. You know? Make a sign and have it in front of you. So when you're calling for parties or you're calling for new team members, reminding you, have a big sign that says NO, equals next opportunity. Have that reminder in front of you. Don't take the no's personally. Make it a game, okay? Maybe with a friend in the business, team up with somebody and see who can make the most phone calls in the next 30 minutes or an hour, whatever you choose. And now you're in a competition, you're not doing it alone, and it becomes a lot easier, all right? Don't worry about the outcome. The average you need to talk to is 10 people to get a yes. And leaving a message doesn't count, okay? It's actually talking to people. It's not dialing numbers and getting no answers or leaving a message. It's actually talking to people, whether it be on the phone, in person, texting, yeah, sort of, but if you really talk one-on-one, it's much better. Did you know you can also have a fear of success? Anybody here ever had that? It's a very real thing. Have you ever been so close to a goal in business or in your personal life, but then it didn't happen? Did you ever look very closely as to see why it didn't happen? Did you self-sabotage? I did. I've done that. Then the question is, why? Why did I do that? Was it self-doubt? Was it the fear of the unknown? Was it someone close to you saying, you can't do that anyways? It could be so many things and thoughts depending on your background, okay? The challenge is to figure out why it happened, learn from it, and then just go on and make it happen. Don't give up, keep moving forward. So fear is natural, but you know where it comes from? It comes from us. It comes from inside, from our own minds and imagination. It's important to remember that we scare ourselves by imagining negative outcomes to any activities we pursue or experience. But because we imagine these things happening doesn't mean that they will happen or that they'll be as painful as we think. Fear stands for fantasized experiences appearing real. Because fear is all about what might happen, not what will happen. All right, so overcoming fear, the good news is since we are the root of our fears, that means we have the power to overcome them. So instead of allowing ourselves to imagine the worst case scenario and be victim of our fears, we can take control of our own minds and consciously decide to visualize a best case scenario instead. So state your fear, and it's good if you can write this down when you're working through it. I want to blank, and I scare myself by imagining blank. So for example, I want to start my own business, and I scare myself by imagining I would go bankrupt and lose my house. That's scary. Or I want to talk to my husband about our relationship, and I scare myself by imagining that if he knew how I really felt and what I really wanted, he would leave me. So by completing this statement for all the things you're afraid to do, you can see how you are the one creating your fears by imagining negative outcomes in your future. So now, let's flip that, all right? For example, I want to start my own business, and I will work hard to do whatever it takes to make my business a success. A little different, huh? Okay? Or, I want to talk to my husband about our relationship, and I will work with him to cultivate greater love and intimacy in our relationship. So that flips fear right on its head. All right, and that will transform it into a positive, powerful positive vision. So I encourage you to try this for yourself and transform all your fears into empowering visions of success. So I have some ways to overcome your fears and move past them by Jack Canfield. Has anybody ever listened to any of his training or read any of his training? You have? He's actually pretty good. Yes, he is. Okay, number 1, become more aware of your thoughts. Thoughts produce emotions, so if you want to change how you feel, change your thoughts. Whenever you feel fear, retrace your mental steps and observe what you were thinking. What thoughts led you to feeling of fear? Once you identify them, it will be easier to resolve them. 2, choose more positive thoughts. You can't rid yourself of negative thoughts simply by not thinking them. The law of replacement dictates that you can't replace something with nothing. You have to replace it with something else, okay? You can't tell your mind, we're not gonna think negative thoughts anymore. You've gotta replace it with something else because they're gonna creep right back in. So when you notice yourself experiencing a negative, fear-producing thought, replace it with a positive thought instead. All right? Number 3, notice your physical efforts and fearful thoughts. Observe the physical sensations you experience when you think a fearful thought. All right? You may feel fear as a sinking feeling in your stomach. Been there. A tightening in your shoulders and chest, or an elevated heart rate. Did you ever experience that when you're? Yes. Notice how you feel and unconsciously replace them with sensations you'd rather be experiencing. Focus on how positive emotions such as peace and joy show up in your body. As a rush of warmth or tingle of delight, imagine yourself experiencing those sensations instead, and your fears will be neutralized. All right, and number 4, use positive affirmations. This is powerful. Utilize affirmations to create a more positive, success-oriented mindset. Affirmations are powerful statements that describe the reality you want to create, and they're a powerful antidote to fear. All right, so here's how they work. Imagine the reality you would like to create, then form a positive statement that describes it as being achieved. For example, I am so happy I started my own business. I am so grateful I am now a new manager. By stating it already being achieved, you create a tension between what you are saying and experiencing physically and what your mind knows to be true. Your subconscious doesn't like this tension and would begin to work overtime to resolve it, prompting you to take action and become more aware of your resources that will help you achieve your goal. What you think about, you bring about. What you talk about, you bring about. Okay? As you practice your daily affirmations, you may find yourself thinking, what if this doesn't work? If that happens, I encourage you to ask yourself instead, what if this does work? Why will this work? How will it work? Different questions that are going to bring different feelings and different emotions. By shifting your questions to focus more into on action and solutions, you'll find it easier to maintain your forward momentum. 5, charge your visualizations with powerful positive emotions. When you include a positive emotion in the statement, such as happiness or gratitude, you open yourself to experiencing that emotion in your body, giving your affirmation far more impact. Just as emotion of fear can paralyze you, intense positive emotions can motivate you towards greater success. All right, number 6, be realistic about risk. All right, a practical and often overlooked strategy of overcoming fear is make sure you're not risking more than you can afford to lose. To grow and achieve greater success, you have to risk something. Just make sure that you can bear the loss if you don't succeed the first time. I came back in this time into Tupperware, my second time in. I came back in to quit my full-time salary position. But I didn't do that and start Tupperware. I started Tupperware, built my business, and then quit my job. Okay? If I had have just quit my job and jumped into Tupperware and things didn't go right, I would have been in trouble. Okay? But I took the time to build my business before I left my other job and then moved on up. Okay? And so glad that I did. All right, if you're starting your first job in sales, call on customers who will be the easiest to sell to. If you're eager to take on new responsibilities work, start by asking to do parts on a project you're interested in. If you want to run a marathon, start slowly with a simple couch to 5K app. Master the skills you need to learn, move through your fears, and then take on bigger challenges. It's small steps at a time, but just keep moving forward. And last, 7, celebrate your successes. You've overcome countless fears to become the person you are today. Whether it was learning to ride a bike, driving a car, or kissing someone you liked for the first time. Anybody remember? Okay, taking risks and opening yourself to new experiences is always a little scary. But when you face your fears and you take action anyway, you build up confidence in your abilities. The situation you're facing now and how your fear is manifesting may be difficult, may be different from what you've experienced in the past, but you already know how to overcome your fears. You spent a lifetime doing it. So I encourage you to follow Emerson's advice and do the thing you fear. It is the best possible way to grow as a person and achieve more success in life. Every successful person I know has been willing to take a leap of faith even though they were afraid, because they knew that if they didn't act, the opportunity would pass them by. Recognize fear for what it is. It's a mental trick your ego uses to protect you from the negative outcomes it imagines. You create your fear, and you have the power to dissolve it as well. Thank you.